Napoleon Bonaparte was one of the most powerful leaders in European history. By 1812, he controlled or influenced most of Europe and commanded the largest army of his time, known as the Grande Armée. Despite his success on the battlefield, Napoleon faced one major challenge: Great Britain. Unable to defeat Britain at sea, he attempted to weaken its economy by cutting off trade across Europe. This policy became known as the Continental System. Russia initially supported this plan, but later resumed trade with Britain. Napoleon viewed this decision as a threat to his authority and influence. To enforce his economic policy and reassert control, Napoleon chose to invade Russia. In June 1812, Napoleon led more than 600,000 troops into Russian territory. His army included soldiers from many parts of Europe, not just France. Napoleon expected the campaign to be brief. His strategy relied on defeating the Russian army in a decisive battle and forcing a quick peace agreement. However, Russian commanders avoided direct confrontation. Instead, they retreated deeper into the country while destroying crops, supplies, and infrastructure behind them. This strategy, known as scorched earth, made it increasingly difficult for Napoleon's army to find food and supplies as it advanced. Growing challenges as the French army moved farther into Russia, supply lines stretched longer and became harder to protect. Soldiers faced shortages, fatigue, and illness. The lack of resources weakened the army even before major battles took place. Napoleon's expectation of a quick victory was fading. In September 1812, Russian forces made a stand near the village of Berdino, close to Moscow. The battle was intense and resulted in heavy losses on both sides. Napoleon gained control of the battlefield, but the Russian army was not defeated. Instead of surrendering, Russian forces withdrew in an organized retreat. The outcome failed to bring the decisive victory Napoleon needed. Entering Moscow, following the battle, Napoleon entered Moscow. He anticipated that occupying the city would lead to peace negotiations. Instead, the city was largely abandoned. Fires destroyed much of Moscow, leaving little shelter or supplies. Napoleon remained in the city for several weeks, waiting for a response from the Russian leadership. No negotiations came. As temperatures dropped and winter approached, the situation became increasingly difficult. In October 1812, Napoleon ordered a retreat from Moscow. By this time, winter conditions had begun to affect the army. Cold weather, limited food, and continued pressure from Russian forces took a heavy toll. The retreat was slow and disorganized. Equipment was abandoned, and the army steadily lost strength. The collapse of the army, when the remnants of Napoleon's forces finally left Russia, fewer than 100,000 soldiers remained from the original army. The invasion had failed, and Napoleon's military dominance in Europe was severely weakened. Other European powers, seeing his vulnerability, began to challenge his control. Napoleon's defeat in Russia marked a turning point in European history. Within a few years, he was forced to abdicate and was eventually exiled. The invasion demonstrated that military strength alone does not guarantee success. Effective logistics, realistic planning, and understanding local conditions are critical in warfare. Napoleon's invasion of Russia is remembered as one of history's most significant military failures. It highlights the dangers of overconfidence and the importance of preparation and adaptability. The campaign of 1812 not only ended Napoleon's dominance, but also reshaped the future of Europe.